Professional wrestling is the one true sport. Other sports have their share of intense, dramatic moments, but nothing can compare with professional wrestling. Welcome to Wrestling History X, where three friends come together to talk about the stories behind the matches. I'm Matt.
I could be stronger, I could be weaker, but I'm still a weasel.
And I am Smiling Shame Smiley.
Welcome to episode 319, Fall Brawl 1998.
WarGames.
WarGames.
No retreat?
No surrender.
One rule.
Take no prisoners.
Oh, so we can murder in wrestling now?
Sure, why not?
Yeah.
I mean, as long as the referee doesn't disqualify you.
Yeah, we can murder the legacy of the WarGames match.
For about 20 years,
I
pretty
mean,
much.
Yeah, like we've had this conversation, and we'll have it again later, but how many great WarGames matches are there? We'll talk about it later.
If we sit here and think about it, I probably could come up with a number.
Yeah.
So this is the 6th annual Fall Brawl, produced by WCW. It took place on September 13th, 1998, from the Lawrence Joel Veterans Memorial Coliseum
Mouthful.
in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, with an attendance of 11,528.
Oh, you poor bastards.
I mean, I think that's just the number for this size venue in this smaller market. So I feel like it's respectable. But
Gone to watch the Fall Brawl at the Larry Joel Veterans Memorial Coliseum in Winston-Salem, North Carolina.
You'd like to think it would sell out. I don't think a lot of things show up in Winston-Salem, North Carolina.
I kind of wonder, they have to have like a shorter nickname for this place. Because there's no way everyone, like every time they're like, yeah, I'm going down to the Lawrence Joel Veteran Memorial Coliseum, like,
They probably call it the
LJV or something.
Yeah, or they call it the Memorial Coliseum probably back in
There you go.
the day.
Veterans Coliseum.
Yeah.
But we are in Winston-Salem, North Carolina.
We are.
So Shane, did you do what you do?
I did do what I do, and as often happens when I do what I do, DoorDash likes to do what it does, or restaurants specifically on DoorDash like to do what they do and throw me a little curveball. So I did what I do in the sense that I got on the old Google machine and looked up what the hell is popular in Winston-Salem, North Carolina specifically, and I found a variety of different things. Popular things in the Winston-Salem area, you've got Krispy Kreme. I think I've brought Krispy Kreme before specifically for Winston-Salem. You have Carolina-style hot dogs, which are kind of like your Conies, just with some slaw on top of them, as well as the chili and the...
Like a mustard slaw?
A chili, mustard, and slaw. It just looks like plain old coleslaw.
Okay.
Or maybe Carolina slaw has something different in it, I don't know. There's something called a Moravian chicken pie, which is like a pot pie without the veggies. A specific style of barbecue, some pimento cheese. Apparently Texas Pete is... The hot sauce is from North Carolina. Some cookies, some fried chicken, biscuits and gravy, and then last on the list was deviled eggs. It's a picnic and potluck staple. Deviled eggs mix creamy egg yolks with mayo, mustard, and spices before being piped back into the whites, often with a hint of paprika or pickle relish for extra zing. There's one place that's known for their pimento cheese deviled eggs. There's one place that's known for a Korean pork belly. One that has some applewood smoked bacon. So I kind of thought we'd have WarGames, and in this specific WarGames, it was 3 teams that were battling against each other. So I was trying to get a trio, my bad, a trio of different deviled eggs, 2 from restaurants, 1 from a grocery store, just to see how they, which one would win in this particular fall brawl or spring brawl, whatever you want to call it. That we're having today.
The egg brawl.
Yes. However, one of the places decided to cancel the order, so we're down to just 2. I stopped by Uptown Grocery here in Oklahoma City and grabbed just some of their basic deviled eggs with mayonnaise, mustard, egg yolk mixed together with some paprika sprinkled on top. Then I also ordered an appetizer from Whiskey Cake. These ones look like they have, is that fried green tomato in there? I haven't taken a bite,
It's
so.
a relish of some
I took a
sort.
bite. I think it might be like a peppercini.
I didn't get any spice off
Oh, I
of
guess
it.
not. Yeah, but it's pickled for sure.
Yeah, let's see. Let me just taste a little something on this one.
There's definitely dill in there.
Yep. There's dill. Yeah, there might be a pickled pepper, a fried green tomato. Anyway, I also ordered ones from Barbecue Place, but they were the ones who canceled on us. So I've had a big variety of deviled eggs in my lifetime. I went to this place down in Texas once that has like 30 different options that you can choose. It's basically, that's all it is a deviled egg restaurant. And I really wish that Oklahoma would get something like that, because sometimes you just want deviled eggs. Like if you ever show up at any sort of a family gathering, somebody has some sort of a deviled egg and they fly like fucking crazy off of those plates, because everybody,
Especially if I'm there.
everybody, you ask them if you want a hard-boiled egg, people typically will turn their nose up at it. But if you mix some shit in with it, split it in half, pipe it back inside of the egg, and sprinkle some little fairy dust on top of it, then you can't get enough of them.
It's the hard-boiled egg is just a little dry, and a deviled egg fixes that.
Mm-hmm.
What would that restaurant be called? The Fart Factory?
Chicken or the egg.
Or is that what it was called?
It was
Do you
probably,
know?
I mean,
Okay.
yeah, it was called Excellent.
I mean, there's a place called Egg Slut, but
Oh, egg slut is delicious.
I hate,
that's not this place.
I hate it when people have restaurants named that.
No, egg slut is amazing.
I believe it's good, but like
If you've never
that
been,
name, I'm not easily offended. I'm offended of the choice that you would name your business, not the word slut. But it's like there was some beer company who they had a beer that was something. It was like a brown ale or whatever, and the
They call
image on it.
something.
Yeah, the image on it was like a guy like shitting his pants, and I was like, I will never buy any of your products because you're too stupid to like understand that that's in bad taste and gross. Like, what are you talking about?
yeah, it's called the Deviled Egg Company or just Deviled Egg Co. But I mean, it's just
Well,
it has
they went real imagined.
lots and lots. It's the Torchy's Tacos of deviled eggs. Just
Seriously.
with a
But I
variety on
appreciate-
there. And then they've got egg salad and other stuff there too. But yeah, just tasted one of the whiskey cake ones. Those are pretty tasty. I mean, how
It's
much?
a very obvious winner.
Yeah. I think
In
the
my
other one
opinion.
might have been more competition for it, because the other one had, a house-made pickle. There was another one I saw that was from a different restaurant over on Memorial, but it was like $20 DoorDash for 6 deviled eggs.
That's
I'm
crazy.
like, no, thank you.
That's
You're not going to get any noise off of these bad boys when I take a bite in front of the microphone, but I'm going to eat one anyway so I can talk with my mouth full, because it's part of the essence of it all.
If you're
so.
close enough to that microphone, it's going to sound disgusting.
All right. Well, the episode that I'm listening to today, where I'm catching up on my past ones, I took a bite of something, and that was your description was gross. So,
Man,
1, 2,
people-
3. Squeaky egg bite. Whiskey cake is definitely the winner. That extra flavor is needed there.
Yeah.
This was whiskey cake.
No, these
No,
are,
these ones were.
yeah, these are just Uptown grocery store.
That one's just like
Your basic bitch mayonnaise mustard.
Maybe the two that I got, I didn't feel like they had a whole lot of flavor in the filling, but the egg itself was cooked better.
in which one?
In this one,
Oh, yeah.
the egg was definitely cooked better in the whiskey cake one, but I like the topping better in the
Really?
grocery store
And
one.
see this one, yeah, the whiskey cake. I
think-
enjoyed that one more because it just had more texture, more something to it. And the
The
grocery
dill.
store one, it's prettier as far as the fluffiness of the middle, but texturally, yeah, the egg wasn't my favorite.
The egg wasn't cooked all
It's
the way
very
through.
tough.
Or overcooked, actually,
Yeah.
probably.
But yeah, no, I definitely liked. For me, it's all about the filling, and I don't think I've ever had a disgusting deviled egg, but it's one of those things where it's like we can get creative here.
Well, something that would happen right around the same time as Fall Brawl, Everlast would release their second album, Whitey Ford Sings the Blues.
Oh,
Yeah.
that record, that album,
That-
that song.
That stupid song.
Oh, Whitey Ford. Who knew?
I'm more of a I'll take Jumper. Does it Jump Around?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take Jump Around over
House of Pain.
I'll take House of Pain over Everlast.
I'm trying to remember, is Everlast, doesn't he live in Oklahoma? Or is that a different member of House of Pain?
I don't think it's Everlast.
Is there somebody that he lives in Tulsa, or at least he lived in Tulsa?
Yeah, I couldn't name a member of House of Pain outside of him. I mean, his biggest solo song comes from this album, and maybe it's his only hit solo song outside of maybe the one with Santana like the next year.
Did he have one with Santana too?
Yeah, on that big Santana record.
Yeah, the Santana album, he had another one.
Yeah, Turn Your Lights Low or something like that, or
okay.
Turn Your Lights Low.
Great song.
But
I will say that song is better than What It's Like, because that song is like intelligent for like a 14-year-old, but as an adult, it just sounds dumb as dog shit.
Yep. Oh,
But hey,
Everlast.
I mean, good for him.
Let's see.
And I'm saying that as somebody who did have this CD, but I must have not liked it because I don't remember any songs off of it.
I didn't have the CD. I just,
It was a big hit. It was a huge song.
I remember getting the CD. I didn't buy it. It was given to me for Christmas or birthday or something like that, but I only ever listened to What It's Like because I didn't really give a fuck about the rest of it.
Danny Boy he opened the Outsiders House Museum in Tulsa.
Okay.
From House of Pain.
Okay.
Like, I knew somebody from House of Pain was up there.
What do you mean he opened it?
Like, he
Purchased it and
purchased a house and made the Outsider. Well,
He purchased the house from the movie.
He purchased the house
from the movie and like made it into a
museum.
That's cool. That's cool of him. He must have really liked that movie.
Hey, it was a great movie.
Yeah.
Great movie. Great
Also
story.
crazy that a guy from House of Pain had to do that. It's like, how many famous people are from Oklahoma that are like writers? Like, you would think that the state would have just done that.
But maybe he felt something with him. Maybe he was one of those little hoodlums in his specific area growing up, and he just felt a camaraderie with old Pony Boy, and I don't remember the rest of them. Dally.
Just a big S.E. Hinton fan.
I guess so.
Yeah, you would think so.
I'm trying to think, what other songs does Everlast have?
It's that one song. Like I said, I remember.
Let's Put Your Lights On with the Santana. That was
that one. I remember that one. But I mean, as far as
2000s.
quote unquote solo.
Here, let's see. We'll go to Wikipedia.
Ends was on the same album. Black
Yes.
Jesus was on his next album. He liked the Whitey Ford name so much, he basically used Whitey as in every single one of his titles of his albums.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Whitey Ford sings the blues.
Why did he just
Ford
change his
sings
name to
folk
Whitey
songs.
Ford instead of
Whitey's
Everlast?
Love Horn, The Ghost of Whitey Ford, Whitey Ford's House of Pain, which was an album he released like 5-6 years ago.
Yeah. I imagine he has an audience.
He did a cover of Folsom Prison Blues.
Ooh.
See? Johnny Cash, there's that influence right there. Yeah, I mean, I think he was definitely better in House of
Literally,
Pain.
Black Jesus is the only other song that cracked the top 20.
House of Pain is just fun, and
Yes.
Everlast, from what I remember, is not very fun. Is not fun. And I'm totally here for some depressing shit, but it's got to be of a higher quality.
Yeah. At least make me want to buy your stuff.
But hey, no ill will to Everlast,
No.
but
Let's see. Apparently he was nominated for a Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Original Main Title Theme Music for Saving Grace. He won the Grammy for Best Rock Performance by a Duo or Group with a Vocal for Put Your Lights On. I didn't realize he won a Grammy for that song.
I mean, Santana cleared up the Grammys that year.
Yeah, but I was focused, I guess, more on everything seemed to be just the light shined on the Rob Thomas one.
What about Maria Maria? I feel like that was like the second biggest hit.
That album was so good.
Mm-hmm.
That Santana album.
I mean, I understand why people like it so much, but for me, Santana exists in the 70s, and like that other stuff is just like something else entirely in my mind. It's like it's not quite the same. And those songs were, I think what it was
it was just a moment in time that it just hit.
It was crazy.
It was either that or the Black Eyed Peas. So
I mean, it's much better than Black Eyed
choose.
Peas. I think also was that my dad had like the DVD of like the Supernatural like concert and played it all the time. So I was just like so over the songs. Like, I don't think they're bad, but if I were to ever like open Spotify and put on Santana. I'm going like straight to like Abraxas. That's more my vibe.
Nominated for Best Rap Performance by a Duo or Group in 92 for Jump Around. Nominated for Best Male Rock Vocal Performance at the Grammys for What It's Like. And I guess that was 2000 also. So yeah, he was twice nominated in 2000 and won one of those. So, attaboy.
I'm sure he's doing fine.
Oh yeah.
So if you need to know what it's like, go listen to some Everlast.
Yeah, if you see a man at your liquor store begging for some change, it might possibly be Everlast because we haven't seen him in a while.
Yeah. Also, you're going to have to probably use Venmo in the year 2025.
And if you're in Tulsa, go to the Outsiders Museum.
There you go.
Yeah, I've never been there, and I should. It's probably neat.
Yeah.
It's
Go
not
to the
far.
Outsiders Museum. Go to the Admiral Twin. That's the drive-in that they filmed at as well. Still live and kicking.
Well, let's talk some fall brawl.
The brawl to fall them all.
Generic rock music brings in the opening video showing the competitors from Team NWO, Team Wolfpac, and Team WCW.
Yeah, hardcore WCW team there.
An animated tank fires as Tony Schiavone welcomes us to the show, joined by Mike Tenay and Bobby the Brain Heenan. And they talk the main event, explaining the new rules. 2 men will start. Then randomly selected men will join from each team in 2-minute intervals.
Picked out of a hat.
But you can win by pin or submission at any time. While the crowd chants, "We want Flair."
I mean, we're in North Carolina.
Yep.
We're in Flair country.
Full on Flair country.
And my thought was like, oh, so it's not WarGames. it's like anybody can win at any time.
Yeah.
There's 3 teams. So it's not really WarGames, but that's okay. We got the double. I guess all it takes is the cage and the double ring.
Yeah. And I feel like the rings were even farther apart this year too.
Well, I mean, you got to use it for your gimmick if you can slip more than an arm in there.
Tony then sends it to footage of something that happened earlier, where we see Ernest the Cat Miller yelling at someone. The security is removing him from the situation. And we haven't seen the cat since World War III 97, episode 282.
Somebody call his mama.
Yeah, it looks like someone stepped on his tail.
Heenan then gives his prediction for the main event. Anyone could win.
Good call.
Bobby's out to lunch.
Schiavone then sends it to Mean Gene Okerlund, who goes over some of the other matches on the card when Chris Jericho, the new WCW World Television Champion, comes out. So Jericho had defeated Stevie Ray the night after Road Wild on Nitro to win the belt with the help of some interference from the Giant.
So Jericho goes all the way back.
Kristen says he has a hell of a scoop for Mean Gene. Somebody took exception to Jericho's personal security detail, that he should be the only champion that should be afforded such amenities. And that person is Bill Goldberg.
Goldberg.
Chris continues that Bill has been whining and complaining, even calling me on my cell phone. So Jericho dared him to put his money where his mouth is, and he foolishly accepted. So tonight you will see for the first time, title versus title, Goldberg versus Jericho.
I mean, we'll see what happens. Can't
like
trust
your
this
energy.
guy as far as you can throw him.
No.
Okerlund says he'll have to confirm this, but Chris assures him it's true, followed by threatening to end Bill's streak and become WCW's first double champion.
Jared 2 belts, huh?
Yeah, no, like
Jared.
not if Hogan's still working there.
Jared Hall the Gold.
So we go to our first match, the Dancing Fools of Disco Inferno and Alex Wright versus the British Bulldog and Jim the Anvil Neidhart. And before the match even gets going, the crowd starts chanting USA. So is Disco the only face in the match?
Is Neidhart Canadian?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I wasn't positive. I know he married into the family, but that's funny.
So Wright and Davey Boy started off with takedowns and complaints of hair pulling, traded strikes in a corner until Bulldog gorilla presses Alex. Both teams make a tag where the Anvil runs over Disco Inferno several times, mocks the dancing before trading strikes and taking both to their corner to tag out. Wright with boots and turnbuckle smashes to take control, whipping Davey Boy to a corner and attempting a monkey flip, only for Bulldog to flip out, but Alex keeps up the attack with a leg lariat for a 2 count. Wright's whip is then reversed, this time into a back elbow, only for Davey Boy to telegraph his move, allowing Disco to fly in with a second rope elbow drop for a near fall. Disco Inferno continues with an atomic drop, followed by attempting a clothesline, but Bulldog ducks and tosses Disco to the floor, where Neidhart hangs him from the railing to deliver knees, before throwing Disco Inferno into the steel. Now back inside, Davey Boy works the back with a chin lock, which Disco escapes and goes for a sunset flip, only for Bulldog to block and pick up Disco Inferno. But Davey Boy has his foot stomped on, so he responds with a whip to the ropes and nailing a hot shot onto him, followed by Anvil tagging in for hair pulls, stomps, and bites. Davey Boy is then brought back for a body slam, and he slingshots Neidhart onto their opponent. But Disco avoids and crawls his way to the corner for the hot tag. Wright leaps in with a missile dropkick to Anvil, dropkick and back body drop to Bulldog, followed by uppercuts, when Neidhart would slow the momentum by attacking from behind. And Davey Boy sets up for his finisher, when Disco Inferno would pull Alex to safety before teaming up for a double clothesline. The Fools make a proper tag as Wright is shoved to the ropes, with the ref having to drop down to avoid being hit, followed by Bulldog leapfrogging Alex and sending him crashing into Disco. Davey Boy then lifts Disco Inferno up to deliver the running power slam for the pin and the win. And this will be the last time we see Anvil in a major promotion pay-per-view, and also the last time we will see Bulldog in WCW.
Wah, wah.
I mean,
but it's probably for the best.
We watched the match.
As far as wrestling goes, because he's never quite been the same in WCW as he is in the Fed.
Yeah, this one just kind of happened.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, it makes sense that the big guys won, but where do we go from here? And it looks like we got our answer.
Yeah.
Away is
We
the
get
answer.
up and we dance it off.
Yeah.
I'll have some more information about them later to
All right.
kind of explain why they disappear. We go backstage. Mean Gene's there, knocking on a door with Scott Steiner and Buff Bagwell answering it. As Okerlund says, there's a rumor that Scotty won't wrestle his brother tonight. And Steiner shows off the ice pack on his back and the tiny Band-Aid on his arm, while Buff has a signed letter from Dr. Cecil Swartz that says he can't clear Scott.
We've been doing this for over a month now.
Yep.
All of a sudden, J.J. Dillon appears to inspect the letter, saying it's unfortunate that Steiner wasted his time, as J.J. rips the note apart and repeats his previous threat, that if Scotty doesn't wrestle, he will be banned from WCW for life.
I think that he gave him 90 days on the start of the
Road
show.
Wild,
Yeah.
And see, my thought there is, fuck does that matter? He's not WCW, he's NWO, so oh well.
Does anybody believe that they're different things?
Already NWO for life.
And Steiner and Bagwell chase Dillon down the hallway, even falling down as they try to collect the pieces of the letter.
And hey man, the letter didn't work. Just leave it behind.
Yeah.
So we go to our second match. Chris Jericho versus Bill Goldberg for the WCW World Television Championship. And the champion came out first. Foreshadowing. And Jericho's music plays, and we go backstage, where we see on the Jumbotron Chris's personal security guards of Ralphus and the Jericho-holic Ninja knocking on the locker room, only for Chris to emerge and leads him down the hallway, where they get lost.
Yeah, the shirt. What does it say? Jericho Protective Services or something
Yeah.
like that, or security, or I don't know. We get the joke.
Yeah. What is his little society he has now?
Oh, Jericho Appreciation Society.
Appreciation. That's
He's
what it
the
is.
learning
Yeah.
tree now.
Oh, that's right.
He changes every 10 minutes.
Yep. Hey, he's got to keep it fresh. More than Subway.
They instead find the cafeteria and the back door, but finally do make their way out into the arena where Jericho poses for his pyro until it fizzles out, which would cause Chris to throw a fit. Bill's theme then hits, and out walks a small bald man with a toy belt, as the commentators call it a disgrace and a sham, while the fans boo.
I find it insulting to people that paid for a pay-per-view to waste their time as opposed to doing this on television. But that's just me.
And the match gets going with Jericho shoving the imposter down before trading arm wringers into a clothesline and a vertical suplex by Chris for a cocky 2 count. Jericho complains to the ref only to turn around into a spear from Goldberg. But Chris makes it back to his feet to stomp down the imposter, followed by locking in a lion tamer for the submission and the win. Post-match, Jericho hesitates to release the hold, so the ref warns him until Chris obliges and shoves down Mickey J. And Jericho collects both belts before tearing apart the toy replica, asking to the camera, to Goldberg.
Yeah, to the real Goldberg.
Who's next?
Ooh.
Yeah, this got me hot, just because it was on a pay-per-view, where I'm like, I guess that's where we are in WCW, where does it fit in the time for the show? Sure, you can do it. But yeah, I was just like, what are we doing? We just had one match that was didn't get me hyped for a wrestling show, and then we did this, and I get the walking through the back gimmick is funny, it went on so long. I was salty about it. Were you guys not salty about this?
I mean,
I knew about it
wasn't
already.
new for me.
Yeah. I mean, I expected this much.
I think
from him.
it's fun. I mean, I find Jericho to be funny.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah,
the thing is, Jericho's trying to do something.
Yeah, I appreciate.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Is like he's trying to.
Yeah, the company and the higher ups are focused on the NWO and the bullshit.
Yeah, no, I
there.
appreciate him trying to do something. I just found that this wasn't the place to do it. This feels like a Nitro thing, personally.
The best thing would have been if the real Goldberg would have
Came
come
out
out at the end
and attacked Jericho.
Yeah. Which would have then led to possibly a match at the next pay-per-view. But
that's not where Jericho is.
Well, WCW doesn't want Jericho anywhere.
They won't allow it.
Yeah,
Anywhere near that.
Yeah. Or if he just totally creamed Jericho and moved on.
That's fine.
But then at least there would have been a button on the joke.
Exactly.
Where it just kind of fizzles out, and I'm like, if he did come out and just cream Jericho and then nothing came of it, what's Jericho got to lose?
We go to Lee Marshall with Rick Steiner in the WCWWrestling.com room, where Stagger Lee says the fans want to see the Steiners fight, but it must be terrible for their parents, with Rick answering the question, saying that Scott and Buff did everything to gain the advantage, that he knows you can pick your friends, but not your brother or your enemies, followed by promising to do whatever he can to teach his brother a lesson. And back to our commentators, where Tony sends it to a clip from Thunder, where Tenay was interviewing the Armstrong brothers of Scott and Steve outside the arena. And we haven't seen either one of these gentlemen since World War III 95, which is episode 173.
First round space fillers.
But you can watch Scott as a referee on WWE TV as of today.
Oh, really?
Yep.
All of a sudden, Ernest Miller would come out of the building to interrupt the interview, complaining that why did they get time and he didn't. He's a 3-time karate champion. I'm the greatest. And the Armstrongs, they're being chill and they're just like, hey, we never get to do promos. Just, give us a break. Which seems to calm the situation as the cat begins to walk off, only to turn and kick both brothers from behind. And Norman Smiley then appears to break up the fight, who we haven't seen since World War III 97, episode 282. asking what Miller's problem is, until security can step in before things escalate. All while the brain is watching from behind in the window.
I don't think I got that.
Yeah, he's just kind of like peeking out the window that's behind him. It was kind of funny.
Yeah, I didn't notice that either.
Sounds like our 3-time karate champion has a bug up his ass.
A little bit. He's a karate man.
So we go to our third match. Norman Smiley versus Ernest the Cat Miller. And the Cat takes the mic to remind everyone he's a 3-time karate world champion. He's required by law to tell everyone.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Doesn't want anyone to not know. And he can take a man apart in 5 seconds, offering Smiley the same amount of time to walk away. So Miller then turns his back and starts to count, only for Norman to just stare him down. So when the Cat finishes, Smiley delivers right hands, headbutts, and a drop kick that sends Miller to the floor. Norman follows out, but Miller nails a side kick and tosses his opponent into the railing to take control. Now back inside, chops and choking continue the punishment until Smiley fires back with a back suplex, a leg drop, and an elbow drop for a 2 count. And the Cat begs off into a corner, only to rake the eyes of Norman and responding with strikes and holds. And Smiley rallies with a body slam, turnbuckle smashes, and a vertical suplex for a near fall, followed by placing Miller on the top. But the two fight atop the turnbuckle, with Norman being chopped back to the mat, allowing the Cat to fly off with the feliner.
Maybe so funny.
Just a top rope roundhouse kick.
Mm-hmm.
Whiffing on it.
Absolutely.
To the point where Norman Smiley smiles because he knows that it did not connect.
But he sells anyway.
Yeah.
Miller then whips Norman into a corner with him bouncing back into a spin kick for the pin. And the win.
I think that the feliner was supposed to do it, but since they whiffed, he was like, all right, well, we got to make this look a little more
Make
legit.
it legit, otherwise Norman's just a punk.
Post-match, the Cat takes the mic to yell, "He's the greatest."
Boo.
Who would have thought? The Cat is the last man standing in the, what the hell is his name? Glacier Saga?
Oh, yeah.
Because, don't see him. What's his face has completely changed characters.
I was like, in Kanyon, technically the last one standing.
He's Kanyon though. He's not.
It's not Wrath
or Mortis.
Or Mortis, yeah.
Yeah. But
Wrath
everybody
is
knows
gone.
he was Mortis. That was part of the angle.
Mm-hmm.
Whether they remember it or not.
Or Glacier, the one who was advertised the most and seen the least.
Well, I mean, you can't just be like, we got a guy, and he's Sub-Zero, but he's not Sub-Zero, and it's like, Mortal Kombat and wrestling are 2 different things.
Shivani then sends it to a video package on the Steiners, where betrayal, transformation, trust, and ridicule all appear on the screen, as we see Scott turn on his brother, doing various interviews, which leads to more deception. We see the events of Road Wild, where Dylan said Scott must face Rick, or he will be barred from wrestling for life.
Bow, bow, bow.
So we get our 4th match, Scott Steiner with Buff Bagwell versus Rick Steiner.
And all I can think is it going to happen? Are we actually going to get this?
A wild brawl breaks out as soon as they're in the ring, with Steiner lines, elbow drops, and turnbuckle smashes, when Scotty would bail to the floor to regroup. And Rick follows to keep up the attack, throwing his brother over the railing before dragging him back to the ring, where Buff grabs the dog-faced gremlin's leg to slow him up, allowing Scotty to recover enough to block a belly-to-belly suplex with a mule kick low blow.
Boo.
And Scott tosses his brother to the floor to run him into the railing and ring steps, followed by returning to the ring to go for a tiger bomb. But Rick blocks and counters into a DDT.
Damn.
The dog-faced gremlin goes to the top rope, only for Bagwell to interfere again. So Rick rams him headfirst into the ring post,
Posted.
allowing Scott to get back into the fight, where they brawl some more. And the ref's checking on Buff over the corner, so once Scotty spots us, he stops fighting and goes to check on his partner.
Uh-oh.
And Bagwell's claiming he can't move. So the ref throws out the fight for a no contest. As the fans...
Bullshit.
They don't like it.
I mean, nothing has happened on this show, and the biggest pop so far was the block and the DDT, and then we go straight into hogwash.
Yep.
Post-match, Rick looks worried, even asking if Buff is all right, saying this better not be a lie. And a gurney's brought out, and the medical staff load Bagwell onto it with a brace around his neck. And the cameras continue to follow them to the backstage. Even Bischoff joins them as both Steiners accompany the stretcher to the ambulance.
Oh, and we've spent more time doing this than we had in the match so far.
Yep.
And after the ambulance's doors close, Rick looks distraught. However, the doors fly open with Scott and Bagwell leaping out to attack the dog-faced gremlin, slamming him against the arena doors until security arrives to stop them. And Tony apologizes to the fans, as they were made fools out of.
This needed to be on television. If we're going to keep doing this, it's not pay-per-view worthy. Everybody deserves their money back unless the show gets turned around.
Yep. I mean, I know there was a dog-faced gremlin in this, but this match and everything surrounding it is just a big old pile of dog dookie.
From two guys that we we could barely love more.
Yeah, never really had a bad thing to say about them until they stopped being them.
Yeah.
Thanks, Buff. You ruined that too.
So we go to our fifth match. Silver King versus Juventud Guerrera for the WCW Cruiserweight Championship. And we haven't seen Silver King since Slamboree 98, episode 304.
I know, I was like, oh, I don't know if I've ever seen Silver King in a singles match.
It's possible not.
Yeah, that was my thought whenever he came out. I was like, oh, that's, yeah.
He's got it best.
I did not expect him in the Cruiserweight match, but why not? We could always use another Cruiserweight. It's a shame that we couldn't have had another Cruiserweight match to start the show.
Yeah.
There's a really great sign that I caught. It says impeach Clinton, Heenan for president. Just like that they, yeah, it wouldn't have been worthy if they didn't include Heenan.
Exactly.
So strikes, chain wrestling, and reversals start us off until Hoovy hits a head scissors takedown, sending King to the floor, where he throws a small fit before sliding back in, just as Guerrera is sliding out. And Hoovy returns to the ring with a springboard Rana and a clothesline for a 2 count. But Silver King answers back with a pop-up dropkick, spinning hot shot, and a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker for a near fall.
The fans start chanting Taco Bell because they're disrespectful assholes. But they're really not having this match, and it's the most interesting thing that's happened so far. Granted, they've kind of been run into the dirt. Yeah. So it's not completely their fault, but, chanting Taco Bell while two Hispanic wrestlers, try to put on a show for you, it's really just shitty.
King keeps up the attack with a muscle buster for a 2 count, followed by drop-kicking Guerrera out to the floor, before a triangle jump plancha on top of his opponent.
Okay.
They roll back into the ring where Silver King whips Hoovy to the ropes, catching him for a powerbomb. Guerrera to counter into a sunset flip, which he doesn't hold on to, so King drops a fist. Hoovy's whipped to the ropes again, being popped up for a powerbomb by Silver King, but he reverses into a Rana for a near fall, before a clothesline and mounted punches. And King sent to a corner, only to backdrop Guerrera to the apron when he charges in, leading to a missile dropkick for a 2 count. Now a standing sidekick from Silver King to fight back, followed by a charge into a corner. But Hoovy avoids, causing King to hit his head on the ring post. And Guerrera nails a poison Rana from the top for a near fall, and calls for the finish, only for Silver King to roll up Hoovy for a 2 count, before a snap suplex and going for a springboard moonsault that completely misses.
Dang.
Guerrera then delivers the Hoovy driver and a 450 splash for the pin and the win.
This was fun, and it was quick. Keyword here, fun.
Yes.
More of it, please.
Yeah, it was a breath of fresh air after breathing in all the dog shit that we had to start off the show with. So,
and Silver King, I mean, he's one of our wider luchadors, not just build-wise. Like, he's not a fat guy or anything, but he's probably got a few pounds on Hoovy. But
Yeah.
I was impressed with the way he moves around that ring. But I shouldn't have been because he's a luchador.
Yep. He's not in the NWO, so you know he can do something.
Konnan is with Lee Marshall in the WCWWrestling.com room. And Lee says tonight must be tough on K-Dog, since Scott Hall was his family. Which Konnan agrees, when Scott would interrupt, holding a drink in his hand and slurring his words.
Oh, I forgot all about this.
Hall heard them talking about him, and what he does in his free time is his business, while K-Dog tells him to be a professional, only for Scott to just toss his drink into Konnan's face.
It's not his time if he's at work.
Yeah.
But yeah. And he is visibly drunk.
Yes, he is
Or
living that.
or the best actor in the world.
Yeah, or he deserves a fucking Oscar.
Living that, it's 5 o'clock somewhere lifestyle before it was a thing.
Yeah.
Tony then sends it to a video package on our next match, where Saturn had lost a match to Lodi, forcing him to become his slave, forbidding him to attack Raven or Kanyon, with Chris taunting him to do so. And the Tormented Soul would even test Perry's honor. He had to either break Riggs' fingers or have his own broken, with Saturn choosing his own, as Shivani called it sickening. Perry would get his revenge when Lodi wasn't around, jumping Kanyon and breaking his fingers. So Raven would send the flock, only for Saturn to fight them off. So the Tormented Soul begins questioning Perry as he thought Saturn wanted to save the flock. And Perry said he put his own soul on the line to possibly be his servant. Now, it's all about saving my career. And hopefully getting away from Raven.
Let's hope so.
Yeah.
So we go to our sixth match. Raven with Kanyon and Lodi versus Perry Saturn in a Ravens rules match.
Yay.
But there's a little more to it, right?
If Perry wins, Raven must set the flock free.
Caw-caw.
While if the Tormented Soul wins, Saturn must be subservient to Raven for the rest of his career.
Feels pretty lopsided, the rest of your career. I mean, we know that's not incredibly long for Saturn, but he doesn't know that.
Also, Kanyon, he's going to be handcuffed to the ring post, which was just added as a stipulation, and he's not happy about it, forcing J.J. Dillon and security to make him comply. And Raven takes the mic to call Perry an embarrassment, that tonight will begin his permanent indentured servitude, only for Saturn to offer that it's all about honor, and Raven has none. So Perry will keep his integrity, no matter the outcome. And then after the bell rings, Saturn goes to drag the Tormented Soul out of his corner,
Boo-boo boy.
only for Raven to counter it into a hot shot onto the ropes for a 2 count. Shoulder block in a corner and a knee lift continues the punishment, when Perry would answer back with multiple kicks and a body slam for a near fall, followed by an atomic drop and a springboard forearm for a 2 count. Saturn with another body slam, and he heads up top for a flying splash that gets a near fall, when a Lodi distraction leads to the 2 men fighting on the apron until a big right hand sends Raven crashing off into the guardrail. And Lodi checks on his master when Perry would fly over the ropes with a tope onto both of them, rolling Raven back in, but Lodi grabs Saturn to toss him off into the apron into the railing as well. Now back in the ring, the Tormented Soul nails several elbow drops for a near fall before trading takedowns and pin attempts until Raven locks on a sleeper, only for Perry to escape with a jawbreaker.
And that's either the jawbreaker or you run him to the corner back first.
Yep.
The Tormented Soul responds with rolling Russian leg sweeps and a drop toe hold onto a chair, followed by the flock bringing out a table, while Raven tells Kidman to head up top. Kidman then delivers a missile dropkick to Raven, forcing the flock members to chase Kidman through the crowd, and also giving Saturn an opening to hit a Death Valley driver for the pin. And no, the ref was late to the count.
Damn you, Lodi.
Perry keeps up the attack with a T-bone suplex, clotheslines, belly-to-belly suplex, springboard leg drop, and a Michinoku driver for a 2 count.
Damn. Crowd's going wild. They're loving this. I'm loving this. They're saying his name. His name is Saturn.
He then applies the Rings of Saturn, only for Lodi to break it up by grabbing Saturn to drag him off. The distraction allows Raven to get back to his feet and holding Perry, while Lodi heads up top. But a mule kick down low knocks the tormented soul down, followed by Saturn kicking the lackey off into the turnbuckle. And Saturn goes for a whip of Raven, only to be reversed and boomeranged back into Mickey J in the corner, knocking the ref down.
Ref bump.
Where Kanyon is able to reach into the pocket of the ref to grab the handcuff keys and unlock himself.
No.
Kanyon jumps in the ring to deliver a flatliner to Perry.
Not a feliner?
He rolls Raven on top before returning to the corner to handcuff himself back, so the ref is none the wiser.
Sneaky.
Mickey J wakes up enough to make the count for the pin. And no, Saturn kicks out.
Ooh.
Dishing out low blows to his opponents, putting Lodi through a table at ringside with the Death Valley driver, followed by returning to the ring, only to eat an even flow DDT for the pin. And no, Perry kicks out again. Raven goes for another, but Saturn blocks and drives the tormented soul to a corner, lifting him up to hit a Death Valley driver for the pin and the win.
It was great to see a wrestling match on a show. And this is the one with the silly rules.
Yeah.
And it was still, they kind of pulled from the classic hits, but they did it all well.
And unfortunately, this is probably the match that people went to the restroom on, too.
Yeah, and it's like, the thing with the table is you bring the table out and the match is good enough that you forget about the table before it gets used. That happened. Mm-hmm. And I was excited, and this was good stuff. If Raven won, I may have had a genuine reaction. Like, watching this, even though it's 30 plus years old or whatever, I would have freaked out. But yeah, this was great. This is what I want to see.
Tony is then handed a note at the booth where he says he has just received word from Hacksaw Jim Duggan's wife. The tumor has been removed, and he's on the road to recovery.
Oh, that's nice.
So Hacksaw had actually come out on TV recently to let everyone know that he had kidney cancer, and he had gone into surgery the same weekend as this pay-per-view. So the commentators give a loud ho celebration.
That's really nice, but there's a sad thing here because Bobby Heenan says, with modern science, if you get it quick, you got it done. And I was like, that's a bummer because we know that Heenan had some bummer health issues later in life. And it's like, that one hit me when he said that. I was like, damn, Bobby.
I didn't even catch that.
Yeah.
Shivani then sends it to a video package on our next match, where we see Dean Malenko and Curt Hennig having a cage match on Nitro, which turned into an NWO beatdown by the end, as Hennig and Rick Rude attempt to slam the cage door on Dean's head, kind of repeating what they did to Ric Flair the last Fall Brawl. Mm-hmm. Only for Arn Anderson to make the save. And the Enforcer would take the mic to tell Malenko he'd be honored to call him a horseman, which brought Dean to tears.
Oh.
So we go to our 7th match, Curt Hennig with Rick Rude versus Dean Malenko. And the story behind this match was that Hennig had grew tired of the calls for a horseman reunion, reminding everyone he ended the faction with a cage door to Flair's head. And after this aforementioned cage match happened, Eric Bischoff would get involved, saying that there would be no reunion and no Flair unless Arn could defeat him in an arm wrestling contest, where Anderson would have to go left-handed. This is during the time frame that Bischoff had filed a lawsuit versus the Nature Boy for no showing an event. So Flair hasn't been seen for about 5 months. Jesus. Or since Sold Out 98, episode 291 for us. That's why Flair hasn't been around.
Yeah.
So as soon as Dean hits the ring, he runs wild with strikes on Curt, until Hennig can bail to the floor to regroup, only for Malenko to follow, attacking his opponent's leg using the railing and ring post.
We want Flair. Posted.
Rude tries to break it up, but Dean fends him off before making their way back inside, where the leg work continues, until Malenko charges into a boot, allowing Curt to rally and go for a slam, only for his knee to buckle. Malenko applies a toe hold, but Hennig fights back again with an eye rake and chops, only for Dean to kick at the knee to regain control, and attempts to lock in the cloverleaf, when Curt would rake the eyes once more to escape.
I know, it feels like Dean's like leaning into working Arn style in this match in a good way, where it's like, oh, it feels like, yeah, like he's channeling him.
Yep. He's enforcing.
Not that they don't have
Enforcing.
a lot in common because they're great and intelligent wrestlers, but just the moveset and the limb. Going for the knee, take the knee out.
Yep.
Hennig with strikes and a head scissor stomp, but Malenko is able to respond with a single leg takedown to return to working the leg, until Rude pulls Curt to safety and they begin to hobble their way to the back. Dean retrieves his opponent to return to the ring for more leg attacks and holds, until Rick kicks Malenko in the back from the apron, allowing Curt to go for the Hennigplex, only for the knee to buckle again. And Dean counters into a Hennigplex of his own, when Rude would jump in the ring to stomp away, causing a disqualification.
Can we get a finish?
Nope.
Post-match, Curt and Rick with the beat down of Malenko, hitting a double press gutbuster, when the enforcer would arrive, but he would get beat down as well, with the pair attacking the neck and left arm of Arn. And they decide they've done enough, with Rude helping Hennig limp to the back. And obviously I mentioned back at Bash at the Beach, that was the last time we saw Rick Rude, but this will be the final time we see Rick Rude, while Curt Hennig will go off and have knee surgery, returning next year in 99 at some point.
I had a feeling it was... I don't remember it being said at Bash at the Beach, but just looking at Rick Rude in this specific show, there's something different about him. I mean, he's got a buzz cut going on, but just looking at him, he looks very thin, very sweaty for not really doing much. I mean, granted, he was wearing a silk shirt or whatever, but it just looked like he wasn't all there, and he was overly sweaty for not really any purpose. And there's, something that stood out about him that I wonder if this is the end.
This was an awesome match. It was great. It was hot. The crowd was into it. We need finishes on pay-per-views, god damn it. And I do love the Malenko Arn combo, but any red-blooded, breathing wrestling fan would and should.
I'll just bring it up now. They had a cage match on Monday.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And then they had this match on pay-per-view.
It sounds a little ass backwards to me, brother.
Just do it the other way around.
Yeah.
And then
Give
have
a finish.
And then have Flair and Arn come out and
You
make
can
the
only
save.
have one cage match, though, because, you've already got your WarGames on this one, so...
I mean...
That's a good point, but
here's
still.
That's the reason why they didn't do it, because...
They don't have the other cage
they
match.
have two, because they have two rings.
Yeah.
So they can't do the cage match here. I get it, but...
Don't do the cage match.
Yeah, don't do
You know that WarGames is like next week or whatever. It's not like you're having a hard time selling basketball arenas for your Nitro.
Instead of who we get in the main event of this one, maybe they could have had Curt Hennig be on one of the teams and Dan Malenko be on Team WCW.
Oh, there's so many
something.
things you could do.
As much as we would love Malenko on that team...
Yeah. They didn't put asses in seats.
He's not a guy that is a name big enough for the...
He just got out of a feud with Jericho, who...
There's only one name that he's bigger than in that final 9.
Yeah.
We love Dean Malenko.
Yeah.
Oh, Stevie.
Absolutely, we love Dean Malenko.
Tony then sends it to a Halloween Havoc commercial, where a man picks up a pumpkin and carries it to a mausoleum. As narration says, the shadows unleashed a forgotten soul, awakening the evil within and releasing the havoc that is Halloween. and the man drops the pumpkin on the floor, only for it to phase through, followed by an animated demon busting forth as Snickers presents Halloween Havoc, Sunday, October 25th. Order now.
Woo!
27 years ago. So we go to our 8th match. Scott Hall with Vincent versus Konnan. And Vince has to wait for Hall as he's busy drinking, carrying his cocktail to the ring.
Yeesh.
As everyone wonders if Scott is in any condition to wrestle.
I mean, I smell a shit show, boys.
Mm-hmm.
Hall poses in the wrong ring and almost falls off the turnbuckles before taking the mic to do the survey, where the Wolfpac wins. But Scott scores it 1 for the good guys, followed by K-Dog coming out and doing all of his catchphrases.
One thing that I really did love about this is that Scott Hall, when he was walking out all drunk, the camera's in his face or whatever, he runs his hands through his hair and he just says, and his hair was perfect to the cameraman. And I thought that was a very nice little Warren Zevon moment. I was like, oh, he's just feeling himself. Maybe a little too much, but I got a kick out of, and his hair was perfect.
So Hall just basically moves back and forth between the two rings to start,
He's wobbling.
forcing Konnan to chase him until grabbing an arm wringer and paintbrushing the back of K-Dog's head. Scott grabs another and goes for a hair pull takedown. But Konnan has no hair, so Hall gets taken down instead. Scott then asks for a test of strength, but he's constantly changing hands that he wants to start with. So K-Dog has just had enough and he slaps his opponent, followed by a rolling clothesline. And Hall looks to leave to the other ring, but Konnan catches up with him, stopping Scott down in between the two rings.
Yeah.
So Vincent jumps on the ramp to distract, giving Scott time to crawl his way out. And Hall's now behind K-Dog, only for it to be no surprise, as Konnan turns and clotheslines Scott down, sending Hall back out to regroup with a drink break.
Jesus. The drink break's tough.
Back in the ring, Scott takes control with a bow and arrow stretch, which K-Dog reverses, but Hall escapes with a mule kick low blow, followed by a fallaway slam and an ab stretch, using the ropes and calling for a drink mid-move, only for the ref to catch the use of leverage. And K-Dog locks in his own ab stretch, which Scott hip tosses out of and goes for multiple elbow drops, which Konnan rolls out of the way of. K-Dog then rallies with strikes and turnbuckle smashes, but he charges into a boot in a corner, before Hall charges out with a clothesline and places Konnan on a top rope for a super back suplex. But instead of a cover, Scott asks for more refreshments, which Vincent argues with him, allowing K-Dog to recover and kick the drink into Hall's face. Konnan then delivers a facebuster and locks on the Tequila Sunrise for the submission and the win.
Well, that was a sad thing to watch, but I must say, I was very impressed that Scott Hall was able to go that long and not hurt anyone. Like, it wasn't good, but he still, maybe it's just muscle memory. It was bad, but like...
Once again, if it's real, it's sad. If he is actually acting, he deserves a fucking Oscar.
Oh, it's real, brother. Nobody's eyes look like that. After 2 drinks, and I don't think anybody could just change their face. Like, I guess that's what acting is, but Scott Hall, what was he in a Ninja Turtles movie?
So maybe he
he was covered in foam.
Maybe he was able. Who the hell was he in that Ninja Turtles movie?
Tokar and Razor or whatever.
No,
he was
Kevin Nash.
I thought he was one of the.
No,
it was
Super
Nash.
Shredder.
Okay.
Scott Hall wasn't in it.
Yeah, Kevin Nash
Kevin
was Super
Nash.
Shredder.
Okay, that's what I got mixed up. But yeah, Scott Hall. If he was ever in a movie, I don't know.
It's Sheamus in the new Ninja Turtles.
Really?
Yeah,
John
he's like
Cena's in the new Ninja
one of the
Turtles, too.
Rocksteady or Bebop type people.
Oh yeah, there's
I think it was John Cena. Was the voice.
He was a voice of one of them.
That Sheamus was in like the live action one though.
Oh, maybe. I didn't see those. Like the
Yeah.
Michael Bay ones where it's like the CGI turtles.
I think so.
Yeah. I don't know. But,
He
yeah.
just did a commercial with him or something. But
Good job. I mean, Konnan, if I was him, I would have been pissed. And I'm sure he was pissed, but he rolled with the punches.
I mean, honestly, for me, because I don't enjoy Konnan at all, if they're going to put Scott Hall with anybody, to me, Konnan doesn't wrestle. So if you're going to have Scott Hall not really wrestling, putting him in a match with Konnan makes perfect sense because Konnan just does little arm drags
this is them
stuff.
still attempting to make Konnan a thing.
Oh, but Konnan used to be able to wrestle.
Yeah,
He just
Konnan
chooses
was
not
great
to
until
now.
he came to WCW, and then he's nothing like he used to be. I miss him when he had hair and when he was in Mexico and when he
was
wrestled.
wrestling lucha style
Yeah.
instead of lazy style.
So we go to our 9th match. Team Wolfpac of Kevin Nash, Sting, and Lex Luger versus Team NWO of Hollywood Hogan, Stevie Ray, and Bret the Hitman Hart
Two of these things are not like the other.
versus Team WCW, Diamond Dallas Page, Rowdy Roddy Piper, and the Warrior in a WarGames match.
Look at all these Hall of Famers.
And Stevie Ray.
He's a Hall of Famer.
I know. Everybody's a Hall of Fame. Hall of Fame doesn't mean anything
Hey.
anymore.
Disco Inferno is not. Konnan is not.
I know.
Konnan might actually be in the Mexican Hall of Fame.
I'm just talking WCW.
But
WWE.
but Michelle McCool and Leah Maivia are, so who gives a shit? That's all I'm saying. Nothing against those people, but we said Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I'll give Leah Maivia.
No.
Just because, she's brought us a lot of great wrestlers.
Oh, okay. Just for lineage alone?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
They,
That's fine.
they wouldn't be here without her.
Yeah.
Whereas,
Not to hate on
I'm
hate on someone, but the natural disasters are in the Hall of Fame.
Aw. I mean, that one.
Yeah. We love Earthquake and Typhoon.
Where's my Dino
Don't
Bravo?
get me wrong, but
Hall of Fame.
Hall of Fame.
Yeah. I mean, I think I'd rather have them in there than the other two people I named. But we know why the other two people are in there. The Earthquake thing, I think, is just a nice... But he's passed, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's a bummer.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like I think they just run out of people to put in there because...
I mean, they've run out of so many. Bret Hart is now a 3-time Hall of Famer because let's start giving matches Hall of Fame rings to.
let's give them moments.
Yeah.
Next year, Mr. Sacco gets inducted.
Next year he'll get a Hall of Fame induction for his Hall of Fame induction where somebody ran into the ring and tried to attack him.
Oh, yeah.
Most memorable moments of the Hall of Fame. Anywho.
So Michael Buffer makes our announcements. So let's get ready to have some spooky stuff happen. And a reminder of the rules. 2 men start after 5 minutes. Random draw will lead to another man entering for 2 minutes, so on and so forth. But pins and submissions can happen
At any
point,
time.
with the winner receiving a WCW title shot at Halloween Havoc.
Okay.
And that's the reason for the thing.
Yep.
But also the reason why are there teams?
Because they got to make it WarGames-ish, and then the idea of somebody turning on somebody can possibly add some drama to something that feels mundane.
And, Warrior's been there for a whole shot of steroids so far, so why not have him be a WCW representative?
I mean, everybody else is
Never
in the
actually had a
NWO and the
match in WCW.
and like the NWO is 1/3 of the 2/3 of the company at this point. So what are they going to do?
So, of course, have a former WWF guy be your WCW representative, along with another former WCW or WWF guy.
Hey, the other channel has Stone Cold Steve Austin and Vince McMahon and The Rock. So they're kind of in a tough
Two-thirds of the
place.
people in this match are former WWF guys.
It's great.
So
Wrestling, guys.
So DDP and Hart start us off with arm ringers and pinfall attempts. When Page nails a belly-to-belly suplex and goes for the diamond cutter. But Bret blocks and hot shots DDP onto the turnbuckle. The Hitman continues with a DDT, leg drop and chokes, followed by a backbreaker, a headbutt to the gut, and a side Russian leg sweep for a 2 count. Hart with an inside cradle for a near fall before returning to strikes, only for DDP to hit a discus clothesline as the 5-minute period ends, and out comes Stevie Ray.
Who would have guessed?
Team NWO double team Page, stomping away and chokes, when DDP would duck a double clothesline to return with one of his own. And Stevie recovers from more chokes, an inverted atomic drop and a clothesline, when the 2-minute period ends, and out comes Sting!
Woo! There's a pop. Stevie didn't get one.
Stevie Ray meets him at the door and starts beating on him, but the Stinger fires back, knocking Stevie into the other ring. So Sting then flies over the ropes with a clothesline. And everyone's brawling as Page low blows Bret and Stinger with a crossbody onto Stevie Ray, when the next participant arrives, Roddy Piper, who we haven't seen since Great American Bash 98, episode 308. And Roddy goes after everyone,
including DDP.
Exactly, as they didn't trust each other in the lead-up, as Piper thought Page would stab him in the back for a title shot.
So Piper's just getting ahead of it.
But when you book a match for only one man to get something, it's totally fine for this to happen, as I said at the beginning of the match.
Yeah.
They can apologize, yeah. Throw the punch, apologize later.
A double noggin knocker to DDP and the Hitman, so Page would fight back, only to have his eyes ripped. And next man out's Lex Luger, who goes after Stevie with strikes and forearms before going after Piper and Hart momentarily. And Sting with mounted punches on Page when Roddy would apply a sleeper to Lex, only to escape by dumping Piper on the ropes. And Sting keeps up the attack on DDP with a facebuster, Bret with an atomic drop to Luger, while Roddy has put the sleeper on Stevie now, when it's time for our next competitor, Kevin Nash. And Big Sexy goes after Piper with strikes and knees, and he looks to powerbomb Stevie Ray, when Hogan would make his way out with time still on the clock,
Boo.
sneaking in and blindsiding Nash with a slapjack.
It's amazing how many people could get their hands on slapjacks back in the day.
I know. Can I just get one off Amazon?
And Hollywood just starts using the slapjack on everyone, not
cool.
wearing black and white, as Lex gets the Hitman up into the rack, while Sting has the deathlock applied to Page. But Hart doesn't want Hogan's help, so Stevie chop blocks Bret to take him out as well. And Hollywood returns to focus on Kevin, delivering a pair of leg drops and makes a cover, only for the ring to begin filling up with smoke.
Ooh. Do love the crowd saying Hogan sucks. That was leading up to all of this.
And the Warrior appears in the ring.
Oh my gosh.
The Hogan attacks immediately from behind, so smoke fills the ring once more, with Hollywood holding the Warrior's jacket up high, only for there to be no Warrior in the ring. So this was the Renegade dressed up, which is ironic considering the reasons they even brought him into WCW to begin with. And we haven't seen Renegade since World War III 97,
Hey.
282. And the time has expired, and the real Warrior now runs down to the ring, attacking Hogan and Stevie, running Hollywood into the cage. Oh, by the way, last time we saw Warrior was at King of the Ring 96, episode 207.
Where,
Wow.
in crying in the janitor's closet? No, that was just...
Didn't he win a match, then just take off running down the walkway to the back?
It's
and then,
very possible because that's typically Warrior fashion there. He
and
runs
then
down
they were just
chasing
like,
somebody.
"You're fired." And then they ran past, and that was done.
We'll send you the check.
And first time we've got Warrior and Sting in the same ring in like 15 years. Big moment.
Yeah. Nobody knows that.
Stevie
That's so
Ray
funny.
fights back, which gives Hogan time to escape the cage, with the Disciple pulling him free, and they lock the door.
Oh no.
And Warrior finally fends off Stevie, and he spots Hollywood on the outside. So he goes for the door, but it's locked. So he begins looking for a way out, finally kicking through the side of the cage and leaping to the floor. And I don't know if you were paying attention when he dropped down to the floor, but he ended up tweaking his knee.
Yeah, he's not very athletic these days. There's a lot of weight to carry around.
He's no longer Ultimate. He's just a warrior.
But he finally catches up with Hollywood and starts brawling with him until security can pull them apart as Hogan escapes to the back. Now back in the ring, Stevie Ray goes to slapjack DDP with Hart holding him, but Paige ducks, causing Bret to take the blow. So DDP uses the opening to nail the diamond cutter to Stevie for the pin and the win. Post-match, Paige stands and stumbles about before crawling out of the cage to celebrate with the fans as Tony says his goodbyes and we fade to black.
Couldn't have happened sooner.
So, I mentioned way back in the first match about Davey Boy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He actually would hurt himself with taking a bump in the ring on the trapdoor that they used
for the warrior
to get the warrior into the ring.
What a shame and a waste.
Which is why he struggled with his finisher and the finish to the match.
Yeah.
He had a hard time getting Disco up because he legitimately hurt his back. This is why he never wrestled again in WCW, as he had to take time off to recover. But it also led to his use of painkillers, which would lead to his eventual death.
Damn. All for a really bad angle.
Yep.
It wouldn't be wrestling if it wasn't for stories like that. Yeah, that's sad. That stinks.
So I ask you, gentlemen, what are your overall thoughts of Brawl 1998?
The right man won the cage match, but it was dog shit. The last 7 minutes was just everyone but Stevie Ray, Hulk Hogan, and Ultimate Warrior, just everyone else playing dead on the mat for 7 fucking minutes. Like they're not Lex Luger and Sting and Bret Hart. It's a bad show. It's a bad wrestling show. With a couple of nice moments that are few and far between. I'm at a loss for words.
Yep. Very much along that same lines. I do not like it on a boat. I do not like it with a goat. I'm not... It's not the worst show that we've seen. It's nowhere near the best show we've seen. It's not even close to being a good show, but we watched it.
It's in the thanks but no thanks pile.
Yeah. In the histories of fall brawls, this is typically what we end up with.
This is one of them.
Yeah. Again, it's not the worst one that we've seen. It's nowhere near the best one what we've seen, and it's not even considered one of the good ones that we've watched. So, yeah, that's all I've got to say about that.
Yeah, Matt's gonna break it down for us more eloquently, I'd imagine.
Break it down.
So there's definitely stuff that shouldn't be on pay-per-view on the show.
Oh yeah, a lot of it.
They had some booking backwards, which we mentioned. But at least it felt like some of the competitors actually gave a shit.
Yeah.
Unlike Road Wild.
Yeah.
So, overall, no need to watch this show.
Nope.
It's not good.
Nope.
But still better than their last outing, which is sad to say.
Incredibly sad to say. I can't completely argue it because there's a couple people that did put in the work, and on the last show, I don't know that anybody did.
I mean, you're in Sturgis. What the fuck do you care?
Yeah, I can't blame them. It's like the guys that were excited to be in Sturgis were probably just partied out, and the ones that weren't pumped to be at Sturgis probably were partied out.
It makes me nervous for Halloween Havoc.
And we should always be nervous for
Halloween Havoc is never generally a good show, but oh my god, this is the roll up to it, or the lead up to it, and blah.
Warrior's kneecap on a pole.
Good. Where's the smart marks at? All right. Fuck you.
I think it's time we smark it up.
Smart.
What are some of the best moments of this show?
My heart was warmed with Dean and Arn.
Yeah.
I have an MVP, and my MVP I'll save, but there's only one possible MVP in my mind. I don't. Yeah, go ahead, Shane.
I'm gonna reiterate my point from earlier. At least Jericho's trying something.
Yeah.
And
see, I thought he was going to be Michael's MVP.
To get himself over to, hopefully, hey, was Goldberg on the show?
Mm-mm.
No.
Well, A. Goldberg was.
Like, literally, he shows up and just spears Jericho
And then
after the end of that match.
And it pops the house, and then I have no issue with that being on this show. I have an issue with this being on that show because it amounted to nothing.
And if it doesn't lead to anything,
that's okay.
It's okay.
Because you popped the house.
Yeah,
that's right.
You get people talking.
And nobody thinks that Jericho's going to beat Goldberg at this point in time anyway.
No.
But also people like us who were watching back then who could see that glimmer in Jericho all of a sudden got that extra little bit of oomph because what if? Maybe they're actually going to do something like this.
But if he got his ass speared by fucking the real Goldberg, you wouldn't have liked him less.
What else?
If Cap doesn't miss the feliner,
it might be better.
That match probably is the best match in the first half of the show.
I know that's rough to say, but as they say, where's the lie?
I
mean, it's not a high bar.
No.
I'm struggling to find a best moment on this show. I mean, aside from Jericho.
Kanyon.
Comments from the announce team.
Handcuffing himself. Doing his finisher.
Yeah.
And then re-handcuffing himself.
Yeah, but
that's classic wrestling.
For me, all of that is in a Raven match, and it just gets lost in the flock of it all.
Yeah, this is probably the best Raven match you've seen in WCW.
I mean, technically, that's the best match on the show.
Yeah.
Raven versus Perry Saturn.
Yeah, my MVP comes from that show. We can all guess who it might be, but that's the only possible one, in my opinion, for the show.
We got to see the Armstrong brothers. I guess that's a
happened.
positive.
Kidman turning on the flock.
Yeah.
That was a great moment. Honestly, maybe that's the best moment. I'm going to say it's the best moment because it's easily my favorite match on the show. Like, with a bullet.
Hacksaw's cancer-free.
That's nice. Yeah, that's very nice.
Ring that bell.
Yeah.
I mean, you mentioned Dean Malenko, which is always good. I don't know if the words enjoy. Like, I thought Hall and Konnan was fun. But, once again, I don't think that he's fully, like, that wasted.
Really?
Because I don't think anyone would work with him if he was completely wasted.
But he's drunk.
Like, he could have a few drinks in him.
Yeah.
But I do think there's still...
It's just those eyes. I don't know how you do that. Those eyes are telling a story. But, I mean, hey, maybe that's just the biggest shame of all is that if he could have just kept his shit together, what kind of wrestler could he be if they weren't lazy buttholes?
I mean, we know what kind of wrestler Scott Hall can be.
Yeah, but, like...
He could be the best wrestler in WCW.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but he, like, even when he was, like... Razor Ramon, he was still like getting better, and then he comes to WCW and does not get better in any way at all.
Stagnates.
Yeah, it's just he's just turns into If the water don't move, it molds.
How about most disappointing? You have to have a few of those, right?
Yeah, can we count the ways?
Let's see. I mean, I'll give match one the benefit of the doubt because we found out that Bulldog had an injury right somewhere in there.
But yeah, that's by no means near the worst shit on this show. That was just not a very great match, but it was still a wrestling match.
I mean, the disappointment of the Steiners.
Even at this point, I don't think Anvil should have been in a ring.
No.
Like.
No. The disappointment of the Steiners.
The Steiner thing really pissed me off.
The Steiners thing should have just been on TV.
It pissed me off so bad, and it's like, okay, are we going to finally have the match? And they have some interaction and start wrestling, and it's kind of fun and kind of exciting. And then they waste 13 minutes of like pay-per-view time for a bad joke that just makes everybody angry.
And they could have added it to the WarGames.
Yeah.
I mean, the WarGames... The Hogan coming out early and then like throwing off all of that timing stuff. I was like, are they just low on time or what? Or is like there's no rules, so like what's the point of WarGames rules if we're not using them? Like even Warrior ends up coming out earlier.
They made a big deal about pins and submissions at any point. It's like we had 2 pinfall attempts at the very beginning between DDP and Bret, and that's it.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it sucks that like...
And then obviously, literally a slapjack laid every single one of them out for 7 minutes while...
Yeah.
Well, they set up the smoke
Hogan and Warrior
machines.
went and did their things.
Yeah. And their thing wasn't good. And we all know about Hogan's crazy overacting or whatever, but like when he holds up the jacket, if I was in that, I could have sniped that man for that poor acting job that he did. It's like, you never deserved anything, you son of a bitch. I got so angry.
I need more Mr. Nanny and not as much Thunder in Paradise.
Yeah. Even give me some over the top. Or not over the top, whatever that one was called.
Rocky.
No Holds Barred. There we go.
No Holds Barred.
Rip it.
All right, best performer of the night.
It's Saturn. How could it not be Saturn?
I'm going Jericho.
He didn't do anything. Fuck him.
I was gonna go Malenko.
I'll meet you with Malenko, but Saturn had the best match.
Yes, I agree with that.
And people like him, and he was trying.
Doggone it.
I never expect anything bad out of Dean Malenko.
Smiley.
That's Stuart Smiley.
I always expect the best from Dean Malenko, and he's probably my favorite guy in this entire company at the moment, but I think Saturn deserves his flowers tonight. And it's a shame that DDP got a big win, and everybody was happy about it, but when they left, they probably had already forgot. Because he didn't get to have his moment. They gave him a moment.
And how about most surprising?
I mean,
Stevie Ray was in the main event.
I was surprised at the Bulldog and Neidhart. That's incredibly surprising. The Smiley and Ernest the Cat Miller. It's like we haven't seen these guys in forever. They're just thrown in here, and I guess the idea that they're doing an angle with Ernest the Cat Miller that they're like putting some time into was a big surprise for me, because I would have never guessed that in a million years before I loaded this up.
Stevie Ray joining the NWO, I don't think is surprising, just because everyone joins the NWO at some point.
Yeah.
But that they put him in the NWO and then like tried to put him as one of the three biggest names in the NWO, like could we not, like where's the Giant at?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Maybe he's hurt. Another question, where's Booker T on this show?
He just lost the TV belt.
I mean, Booker T might actually be hurt because Stevie Ray was defending the television title for Booker T because he was hurt.
Oh, okay.
So he might still be hurt.
All right. Yeah, I was going to say, it's like
I mean, there's a list of names of guys that were like,
where's everybody?
Where's this person at?
Yeah.
Why are they not on this? Like,
I mean, we know Savage is gone for the time being for his surgeries, but
like, where are the other cruisers? I'm like, why?
We could have had Scott Hall in
it's
there.
like, why is that? I mean, nothing against Silver King, but why is it Silver King here, and why don't we have like at least another cruiser style match on this show? We got a lot of cruisers.
Throw a 6-man cruiserweight match on the show instead of
something happens
instead of the Steiner's match, just so like there's something entertaining.
Either that or let the Steiner's match happen.
I mean, yes, that's what needs to happen.
Yeah, but these poor sons of bitches in North Carolina.
They're used to it.
I hope the tickets were affordable.
I mean, it's 90s WCW. They very likely could have just been given tickets.
Making their way to the ring.
It's trivia time.
Oh, shite.
So this week, the category is music of the mat.
Hit my music.
Break it down.
Hit my music.
So I'm going to play a song. Guess whose the wrestler's theme it is.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you 3 points.
All right.
Here we go.
Ooh. We're doing some...
Is this Japan? I'm guessing? Maybe?
I don't know. It sounds like... It almost seems too quiet for a Japanese song. Or like too, like, not bombastic enough.
American Males.
Oh my gosh. That's a crazy one. I should have kept my mouth shut so I could have heard him say it.
3 points for Shane.
Wow, that's a wild one.
Yeah, I guess I never really paid attention to the intro to that because I thought it just started up with American males, American males.
Yeah, I mean, they really milk that feedback.
It's a horrible song.
Wow.
Was that done by Jimmy Hart or JJ?
Yes, it was.
Jim Johnstone or whoever? Oh, Jimmy, you could have done a whole lot better on that one, but at least it was only used for a short time.
Next week, WWF Monday Night Raw.
A palate cleanser, I hope.
Oh,
September 14th, 1998.
Whew.
Music from this week's show is King by Eve Dowdle. And DDP won our main event.
Hey.
So we play Self High Five by Jimmy Hart and JJ McGuire. If you like this episode or any of our other ones, please go out there, rate and review us on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you find your podcast at. Do as Michael says.
We watched Fall Brawl 1998. Give us 5 stars because the show sure didn't deserve it.
No.
We watched it. We talked about it. We thought about it. We're done thinking about it. Give us the 5 stars. We earned them.
And if you have any questions, comments, concerns,
People, we are going to San Jose, California next. So if you got any ideas for me on food, beverage, something with arugula, I don't know. Give me some ideas. Also, if you have ever watched this show,
Did
this
you go
Ball
to this
Brawl,
show?
yeah, give me
Did you
some
buy this
personal
pay-per-view?
feedback of how you felt in the moment because I didn't watch it back then, but watching it now makes me angry.
Yes.
So yeah, give us your thoughts, your feedback. Tell me what you think. How much did you hate the main event in comparison to the Raven Saturn match? Talk to us. Let me know.
and you can send any of those things to our email at wrestlinghistoryx@gmail.com or find us on X at WrestlingHistoX. That's Wrestling HISTO.
X.
We'll talk to you next week.
Laters.